Hey, how's it going, friends, and welcome to this new video of the channel in which we will get to know the new bet from Ulefone, this Armor 28. Ultra thermal vision, a phone that is going to leave us absolutely astounded because we are talking about a rugged phone that comes with incredible technology. With a monstrous battery of 10,600 milliamp hours, it has a 120 Hz active matrix organic light emitting diode screen, 1 TB of internal storage, 32 GB of RAM thermal camera, night vision camera, and this accessory that we are going to test, which is an endoscope. So let's see if it's worth putting it to the test. And to see how tough this armor is. 28 ultra wear, if not here at Tech Ground. For those who don't know, Ulefone is a brand known for creating ultra-durable devices and smartphones for adventurers, workers in extreme environments, and people looking for an all-terrain phone. And here on the channel, we have tested different devices from the brand, and they have surprised us by being real beasts. And mix innovation and technology in an ultra-durable device. So if you enjoyed this content, leave your like, subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our networks. Now let's get to what matters to us, the unboxing of this device, this Ulefone Armor 28 Ultra. Well, as always, we see a design finish on the box of this Armor 28 Ultra, just like the rest of the Ulefone devices. A combination of yellow and black colors in its silk screen and a metallic finish in the background of the image. We open the little box and we find ourselves first with a welcome text on a black cardboard with a golden engraving and a small envelope in which the different instructions and user manuals will appear. We also see here a catalog of accessories. Take a look at their page because they have a lot of accessories from grips, cameras, sound equipment, wireless charging systems, docks. The truth is that the ecosystem this Ulefone have is amazing. We also find the tool to open the subscriber identity module card slot and a replacement tempered glass to put on our device just below. We already see the phone very well protected in this plastic, in which we also see some marks that indicate where the buttons are located and what each one is for underneath the device. We find this piece of 120 watt transformer charger. And this yellow cable, which looks like a high voltage cable because it is very thick and quite flexible, approximately 1.5 meters. And also right below, we see this little strap to be able to hook the phone to our wrist a bit more solidly to have some security when we pick it up, since it is quite heavy. And this would be everything that comes inside this box of this Ulefone Armor 28 Ultra Thermal Vision. Well, let's now open this box, this accessory, this U-Smart dual camera endoscope E02, which would be a dual camera that we are going to see, which is 2 meters long. IP67 dual camera and made for U-Smart, which is the connector that these types of Ulefone devices bring. The top section displays the available accessories upon opening. A super thin Torx screwdriver to remove and insert the necessary screws for the device. And we see these three accessories, a hook to pick up items that have fallen when we are with the camera, a magnet and a circle, a cylinder to protect the camera when we put it inside any surface or hole. And now we are going to open the bag where the endoscope would come with a semi-rigid cable of about 2 meters, approximately 2 meters, says the manufacturer at the tip. At one end we would have the U-Smart connector, and at the other end we would have the two cameras. And this Ulefone module, where we will have a button and a dial to switch between cameras and adjust the intensity of the flashlight. So this would be everything that comes in this accessory, in this U-Smart E02 in the box of this endoscope with two cameras. Well, we already have the device out of its box. Let's start by talking about the size and dimension of the device, which would have a height of 174.2 millimeters, a width of 83.6 millimeters, and a thickness of 19.4 millimeters according to the manufacturers. We got 23 millimeters at the thickest part in this part here at the camera module. With a total weight of 450 grams, we...
Anybody, probably meeting for them was speak. I go, oh, actually, about this bad, it big boom.
A large, sturdy and well-finished device with materials in a combination of plastic and aluminum, metal. Come on, and also a little touch of glass on the part of the camera module. All of this makes this device have military certifications IP68 ingress protection 69K, and it also has a Corning Gorilla Glass protection on its screen. Vectus, which meets the military standard 810H standard, capable of resisting scratches, falls and pecks. Obviously, if a tank runs over it, it might crush it. But it is capable of resisting force of up to 2 meters and submerging it to depths of 2 meters for 30 minutes. As I was telling you, in the finish of its materials, a mix of rubber, very well protected on all its edges, screen under bezel below the structure of the phone, just like the part of the cameras, to avoid flat and plain hits on the screens. Let's move on to talk about its design. Flattened edges to avoid hits at 90-degree angles with a very resistant finish. You can see that it has that consistency. On the top edge, we find the 3.5 jack input, an infrared sensor to be able to control devices from a distance. On the right edge, we see through a strip together volume up and down button, a metallic finish along all these buttons, lock and unlock button that has a fingerprint and a direct button for the camera to take pictures. We are underwater. The moment we give it, it will open the camera to be able to take images instantly. If we go to the bottom edge, we find the main speaker, which has a stereo speaker. The entrance, very well protected, just like the jack, through a flap, USB-C input, and the main microphone for when I speak. On the left edge, if we go from bottom to top, we see the U-Smart connection for accessories, as we're going to see that we can connect here directly using a screw and a programmable button. Just like the camera's shoot button, it's orange and rough, with which we can configure shortcuts like turning on the flashlight, open the screenshot directly. And finally, the tray for the 2 subscriber identity module cards or a micro-secure digital card. On the back, in the top module, we find all the cameras, and in the center, a sphere where we will have a display, a secondary screen to be able to see notifications, access to music, the clock, the compass, the battery, the camera, even to be able to take some photos. The truth is that it's really good. Around, we find a thermal camera, a main camera of 50 megapixels, a wide-angle camera also of 50 megapixels, a night vision camera of 64 megapixels with 4 infrared sensors. And finally, the LED light, which would be the flash that would also be incorporated here in this module, in a finish with the glass-like laminate that also reflects light and serves as a mirror. Just below the camera mode, we see this little plate with a textured military finish, which also gives it that touch. But in combination with the rest of the elements and materials, it gives it a quite elegant aesthetic and out of the ordinary for such a plain and simple phone as the ROG ED4. Now we move on to talk about the main screen, and we link with the features, since we have a screen of 6.67 inches, which would cover practically 74% of the body of the screen. Since it has a black border around to avoid those direct hits on the screen itself, at the top we see the speaker for the ear, just below the front camera. A front camera also 50 megapixels with a maximum aperture of 2.8 f and proximity sensor. The screen would be an active matrix organic light emitting diode screen with an aspect ratio of 28, and that is going to give us a maximum brightness of 2200 nits. And it has a resolution of 1080 x 2400 pixels, having a density of 395 pixels per inch. And of course it looks like this. This screen, along with the audio, a stereo speaker that doesn't have Dolby Audio or is an extremely powerful speaker, but it sounds pretty good. We leave you here a test so that you can, through my microphone, listen to the device. As you can see, it reaches 104-106 decibels. The truth is that it is quite powerful. It screams more in the highs than in the lows, but it sounds quite clear and has a very good gain level. Of course, all of this would not be possible to move without an internal processor like the MediaTek Dimensity it carries. 9300 plus, with 8 cores and a maximum clock frequency of 3.4 GHz. In addition, it has 16 GB of RAM, expandable up to 32 GB through virtual memory, and an internal capacity of 1 TB, no more no less, which we can also expand via microSD. Of course, it comes with a standard Android 14, which is going to allow it to be on the latest updates of all applications. And any need we have at an internal level, we leave you some tests so you can see how it moves video games. And we have tested it in Call of Duty in Warzone, and we have also tested it in Asphalt. And it really moves well for being a rugged phone. And that's what also surprises me quite a bit, that they incorporate that technology and that performance power into a phone like this, which is intended for adventure. Have you seen how it moves, how it processes information? We also leave you here some videos and some photo captures so you can see both day and night, the front camera and the rear cameras. How do the different shots we have taken with all the cameras of this device behave? Positive, and that is in the video, we will have a maximum capacity to reach with the rear camera up to 8000 at 30 frames per second and 4000 at 60 frames per second. We also have the option to do time ramps. We have panoramas, as I mentioned, night vision and thermal vision to see if we have a fever, if we want to see if we have a water or temperature leak in our home. If we want to use it for more specific technical and industrial jobs, such as for science matters, for laboratory matters, for plumbers, for electricians, for mechanics, and it's truly amazing. And so we set up this endoscope that has a dual camera, as you're going to be seeing in my car. We can take a look in a moment to see if the pulleys are okay, if there's any engine oil residue, if there's any leak. This has many applications that each expert will know in their respective fields. How to use it? Front camera of this Ulefone 28 Ultra in daytime conditions. This is how it looks, this is how it sounds. I'm walking with my arm practically stretched out so you can see the stabilization, and this would be the summary rear camera in 8K 30 frames per second of this Ulefone Armor 28 Ultra. This is how it looks, this is how it sounds. Let's add a little bit of zoom, maximum zoom by 4, which is vital. We open zoom and move a little bit so you can see how it stabilizes. Same scenario. This time we have this rear camera of the Ulefone 28 Ultra in 4K at 60 frames. As you can see, the frame rate increased side, the acceleration also increases. We are going to put the zoom in 4000. We see that it loses a little the difference of the 8K front camera of this Ulefone Armor 28 Ultra Night Conditions extended arm. Walking, this is how it looks, this is how it sounds. I'm going a little more into the darkness. Rear camera night conditions recording in 8000 with this Ulefone Armor 28 Ultra at 30 frames, rear camera with night visions. Now turn off 4060 frames. It seems that here the color does pick it up much better and there is no digital sensor noise in the highlights. Of course, it has a beastly battery of 10,600 milliamp hours with a maximum charge of 120 W. You have seen that it brings an incredibly powerful transformer, wireless charging that can reach up to 50 watts, and it also has reversible charging, which is to say that we can use our phone as a power bank and give energy to other devices. Obviously, being a ruggedized phone, it comes prepared with a toolbox with plumb lines, sound level meter, atmospheric pressure. We can also set an alarm. We can do a lot of things as it is a prepared phone, well for that, for adventure, for complex, complicated situations, and for work. It has triple band Wi-Fi. I have it connected at home and it can connect to Wi-Fi 6 without any problem. It also has Bluetooth 5.4. And as for global positioning system, a super accurate position, as it comes with Beidou, navigation satellite system Galileo, GLONASS, and global positioning system, so you don't get lost in the mountain and they can send your location and you're always located. 100% safe, so nothing. This is the Armor 28 Ultra, the new release from Ulefone, a real beast. Yes, it's true that, well, it's a bit of a brick as phones are usually called. It's a big rough phone, it's a safe phone, it's a phone with a lot of capacity and incredible performance. It's true that they are increasingly including better cameras in this type of phones, better performance, much more powerful processors, which are capable of moving, multitasking incredibly fast. And as I mentioned throughout the entire video, it's a phone aimed at adventurers. To people who like the mountain, especially to workers from different sectors who are capable of withstanding extreme temperatures and climates. For example, I'm going to give a more basic example. I have tested the Endoscope and I think this is a very useful tool for mechanics. Both with this mobile, which has a very large maintenance, as well as with the tablets that we have also tested. Armor that is going to give us, if we have that profession, is going to save us a lot of headaches. It is going to save us a lot of time if we work in industry or we work in science. In order to be able to analyze different types of pipe specifications, electrical systems, water insulation sources, etc., which has a ton of applications. So, well, for me, pleasantly, I am increasingly surprised by these types of products and above all, this Ultra 28.3 that we just tested from Ulefone. I want to read from you in the comments. What do you think? How do you see this piece of cucumber? I don't know if I have my phone here. If you look at the size, in relation to the size, it's not much bigger, but it is much thicker. I'm interested in your thoughts and opinion. Would you use it yourself? And if you need a device like this, I wouldn't be able to say the price for sure, as it's a very, very, very recent release. I've seen it at different prices, from 750, 800 euros, in some places 1100, but it's missing that a phone confirms it on its platform, on its website. Obviously, we will leave you the link in the description so you can access it. And you can see all the catalog, all the wide range they have from Armor, 10 phones, resistant, tablet, everything. So take a little look at the page, and of course, thank you very much for being there. See you in the next episode. Subscribe if you are not subscribed. Give it a like to support our content and continue making reviews of this style. And of course, activate the bell so you don't miss any video. Thanks again. See you in the next TechGround episode. Bye!